ఈశ్వరి స్పష్టంగా నీవు తెలిపేను నాటలు చిత్తములు విరాజిల్లు ఈశ్వరి స్పష్టంగా నీవు తెలిపేను నాటలు చిత్తములు విరాజిల్లు ఈశ్వరి చరిత్రమే గానము చేయించి మాయలో నుంచి చరిత్రమే గానము చేయించి మాయలో నుంచి చరిత్రమే గానము చేయించి మాయలో చరిత్రమే గానము చేయించి మాయలో నుంచి ఆగమాంగ సారమే జగన్ ఎవరెరిగేను ఇన్ని విద్యామయి ఆనందాత్మికే నిత్యే నిరామయి ఆది ఓ మహాదేవి నీలేని నిశ్చయం ఓ మహాదేవి నీలేని నిశ్చయం ఇహలోక చరాచరములు అన్నీ ఓ మహాదేవి నీలేని నిశ్చయం ఇహలోక చరాచరములు అన్నీ ఓ మహాదేవి నీలేని నిశ్చయం మూర్తలు మూవరు మొక్కీరు నీకు జనులందరూ మూర్తులు మూవరు మొక్కీరు నీకు జనులందరూ మూర్తలు మూవరు మొక్కీరు నీకు జనులందరూ మూర్తులు మూవరు మొక్కీరు నీకు జనులందరూ ఆగమాంద సారమే జగన్ ఎవరెరిగేను ఇన్ని విద్యామయి ఆనందాత్మికే నిత్యే నిరామయి ఆదిశక్తి పరాశక్తి పాదు ఆగమాంద సారమే జగన్ ఎవరెరిగేను ఆనందాత్మికే నిత్యే నిరామయి ఆదిశక్తి పరాశక్తి ఆదిశక్తి పరాశక్తి ఆదిశక్తి పరాశక్తి.
So coming into the moment, this moment. Good morning and welcome to our seminar this morning. For it's only in this moment, the present moment, that one can experience the light fully. And it's not that you have to give up your thoughts. You can still have your thoughts. but coming into the moment and experiencing that moment. One can also experience that inner essence, that light within. So we extend that space of the awareness through the body. We extend it up and down through the whole body. And into the field around you. And sensing right now the energy of the field in that space around you. Extending that space also to the person on your right, to the left, across the room, to all the people on the Zoom this morning. I was watching it as people were coming on. It's like lights, just little lights coming up, one after another. So we sense that energy of the field, which is so magnificent this morning. We pull it into the top of the head, down through the forehead, through the face, through the throat, down into the heart, down into the belly, into the lower body. And we amplify it from the back of the head into the forehead. The back of the head into the heart. And the back of the head into the lower body. And then opening right now in the heart. As we open into the light, into that inner essence of us, becoming one with the light, with that radiance in us. So once again, we extend to each other. We extend also to the generational field, that field of the ancestors, the family, the friends, the great yogis we've known in our life. We extend to all our teachers. And we extend in the light to all the traditions of which we've participated in. And to the great archetypes of all the traditions. Feels like everybody's showing up today. So, it's said that in the Upanishads, that as a yogi experiences the truth of the self, he becomes infused with this light, with this radiance. And as the light is experienced in meditation, some light forms are also experienced. At first, they're experienced as light forms, and later as archetypes, such as deities, devas, dakinis, angels. And these luminous forms are perceived through the cultural lens of a particular tradition. And what are these archetypes of light? These great archetypes are personifications of the field itself. So just as you and I are personifications of the field as human beings in the physical realm, the archetypes are personifications of the field at a much more subtle level. They represent the qualities of the primordial field. And their function is quite clear: to help us merge with our own eternal field of awareness, to help us to become as much as we can become in any given moment, to help us know and recognize all the dimensions of our being, our awareness. So as you hear these sounds, just let yourself pull the sounds into the light. And like Dante's Virgil, they guide us along the path. They comfort us, they love us, they heal us, and they're always available. All we have to do is to remember to connect with the field and open to them. Carl Jung described the collective unconscious in this way. The collective unconscious surrounds us on all sides. It is more like an atmosphere in which we live than something necessarily found in us. Also, it does not by any means behave merely psychologically. In the case of so-called synchronicity, it proves to be a universal substrata presence in the environment rather than a psychological premise. Wherever we come into contact with an archetype, we enter into a relationship with the transconscious and metaphysic factors. So the collective unconscious, or these great archetypes of light, may be experienced through transmission. They may be invoked, or sometimes just show up, either when you're meditating or just hanging out. And we experience them like a caress on the head, as a brightening on the side of the head, a pressure in the back of the head, or the third eye, or as a pulsation in a particular energy center. The crown center, called the 1,000-petal lotus, at the top of the head is known as the seat of the primordial teacher. So very often we will experience some movement of or light in the head, indicating the presence of an archetype of light. We also begin to have an inner sense of the meaning and the form of the archetype and the light which we're connecting to in that moment. And the presence of these archetypes may also be experienced in the ears. One might experience a kind of crackling or opening in the ears. When the ears are opened, one is able to bypass cognition and directly perceive experience from the field of awareness and particular archetypes. St. Teresa of Avila describes this experience. It's as if when we're praying, we discover the person to whom we're going to speak. But when her confessor asked her, "So who said that this was Jesus?" And she replied, "Well, he often tells me so himself." Another place in the body in which we feel moved by the archetypes of light is in the heart. As the heart opens, we weep from gladness, from joy, from kindness, and sometimes from the release of pain. And often we feel we've come home again. So the appearance of archetypes is recorded in every tradition. In the Hebrew tradition, 8,000 years ago, Enoch described two very tall men, different than I have ever seen in the lowlands. Their faces shone like the sun. Their eyes burned like lamps. The ancient prophet Ezekiel is transported from Chaldea to Jerusalem and back in an aerial chariot of God, operated by angels. Elijah also ascended in a fiery chariot and was gathered up in the windstorm to the heavens. 5,000 years later, the prophet Daniel recorded, a man dressed in linen, with a girdle of pure gold around his waist, with a face that shone like lightning, eyes that were like fiery torches, arms and legs gleaming of burnished bronze. And the sound of his voice was like the noise of a crowd. A few years ago, a group of rabbis met with the Dalai Lama to exchange religious traditions. One of the Hasidic, the more mystical rabbis, brought up the subject of angels. And the Dalai Lama wanted to know about angels. So the rabbi replied, there are all kinds of angels. Right now there's an angel of Tibet and the angel of the Jews who are talking at a different level. The other rabbis were like, oh my God. So they tried to change the subject, but the Dalai Lama kept asking more and more questions about angels. And so the rabbi responded by saying, ultimately there are no angels. Ultimately there is God. But the garment God wears appears to us as an angel. So God has a little finger, as it were, and the glove has another glove. And the outermost glove is what we call the angel, or what we call the wind, or the force in the universe. But what moves them is always the power of the Creator. In the Kabbalah, it's understood that the angels go up and down Jacob's ladder, ascending to God and descending, bringing messages to earth. In another tradition, that of Islam, the Prophet Muhammad is said to have received the revealed scripture of the Quran from the angel Gabriel. Muhammad would experience the presence of Gabriel as an intense weight upon him. This presence would come to him day or night. And Muhammad described it as if the weight of a camel had descended upon him. As he surrendered to the presence of Gabriel, the Quran would be dictated to him. In the Eastern tradition of Hinduism, we see Ramakrishna, the great 19th century mystic, being totally absorbed in the vision of the Divine Mother. our own root teacher, Swami Muktananda, experiences the blue pearl exploding into visions of heaven, hell, and into the blue person prior to his self-realization. One of the great literary texts of Hinduism, the epic poem, the Bhagavad Gita, describes this divine cosmic form of Krishna as he reveals himself to Arjuna. In the Chinese tradition, the Princess Mao Shan attains the light body and ascends to the immortal realms after being executed by her father, the emperor. She is thereafter known as Kuan Yin, the goddess of compassion, who particularly assists those in poverty, those suffering from oppression, disease, and war. In the Tibetan tradition, the Book of Dasein speaks of the luminous suns, who are the producers of form from no form. One leader shines forth as the sun. He is the blazing divine dragon, serpent of wisdom. In Christianity, the appearance of light forms as the Divine Mother, as the angels, as the Christ. These appearances have been recorded through history, and particularly by the great artists who have influenced our experience of divine forms. Mary is told to become the Mother of God by the angel Gabriel. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you, and blessed are the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. The Christ rises again after 3 days in the form of light. In the Transfiguration, Jesus ascends into heaven as a body of light. For the Dzogchen Buddhist, the practitioner works toward the goal of achieving the rainbow body. He does this not only for himself, but also works to help all sentient beings attain the body of light. So it is our conviction that these light and light forms of archetypes are not only experienced by saints and prophets, but also these experiences are available to each of us. All we have to do is to release ourselves from prejudice and open to them. So if this light and archetypes of light were to speak, they might say, we come because of love, and only because of love. It is our great wish that you understand this. We support you. We love you very much. It is our wish that you become one with us in this love. And the question is asked, who are you? Do you have a name? Yes, of course. But for many, the light of awareness is sufficient. Focusing in on that light within us. again, we'll focus the light on those people we know and love that might be having some difficulty. So holding the light for them, extending the light. We extend it into our city, into our country. And we hold that light throughout the day, and for the world. So we have one more chant today, if you like. then we'll start to close up right now. If you like, you can rub your hands together till they're hot. Sealing at the heart. Top of the head. The belly. Kind of trying to wake up here. Anyway, thank you all for coming. I just have one announcement. Do you have any announcements? You do. Okay, I'll let you go first.
Morning. Tomorrow we'll have Dakini Day again, and we'll start with an ongoing teaching by Lama Tarchin on Dujim Lingpa's Songs of Realization. And Dujim Lingpa was the person that brought forth the Dujim lineage, the divinity of appearances. And he was we're talking about archetypical light. He was a personification of Dorje Drulo. And Dorje Drulo is a archetype of compassion in its fierce form of protection of innocence. They're very powerful, powerful teachings that Lama Tarchin's giving, and it's really great. You can come on Zoom. We start at about 8 o'clock, and then usually we have the talk on for about an hour, and then usually there'll be some little song invocation of the Dakini energies.
Also, there's two things that I'd like to mention. Amachi will be in Washington July 8th and 9th. And, you know, if you don't, most people know her here. So if you'd like to do seva during that visit, they definitely need volunteers. And also, Lama Norla is going to be having the Molam, which is I guess a yearly invocation.
Different places in the world, but it's where all the Kagyu tradition meets, and it's a celebration of the Kagyu tradition. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, the Molam is I think it's a yearly, every 4-year meeting of all the Kagyu tradition, and it's both a celebration of the Kagyu tradition and the masters and the lineages, but it's also there's some really great teachers who are teaching there. And it lasts about a week. I forget the dates. 6th through the 13th. You can go for 1 or 2 days, but it's really a great experience. There'll be a vast amount of energy, and plus it'll be a lot of fun.
So again, thank you all for coming. And if you'd like to meditate for a while, you're welcome.